consuming protein and fat, whereas with the spaghetti, you're eating primarily a carbohydrate food, but with the tomato sauce, you're consuming vitamins and minerals and so forth, and in fact, you're eating a lower calorie food than by selecting the steak. Another misconception on the part of many people is that carbohydrate foods are fattening, and therefore they mistakenly omit them when they're on their homespun weight control plans. How many times have you heard a person say, I'm cutting out bread and potatoes so I can lose weight. They then proceed to eat an oversized chef's salad bowl, heaped with slices of ham, cheese, roast beef, and topped with a half a cup of salad dressing. The salad dressing alone amounts to 480 calories. That's a half a cup I'm talking about. But how many people have you seen doing this? They buy these oversized salads and then just pour the salad dressing on. The potato would have only cost them 100 calories. The point I'm trying to make is that a good diet, whether it be for weight loss, weight gain, growth and development, or maintenance, includes a variety of foods chosen from among the meat, fish, and poultry products. It includes fresh, frozen, and canned fruits and vegetables, milk and milk products such as cheeses and yogurt, and a good variety of breads and cereals. Once the basic requirements are met in a diet, individuality can dictate how the rest of the calories can be consumed. We'll discuss this later when I'm talking about meal planning. You can use your food habits to an advantage to regulate your dieting. One of the very simplest procedures to losing weight is to eliminate from your diet a food or foods that you are accustomed to eating. For example, if you eliminate 1 pat of butter, now all of these comments will be made keeping in mind that you haven't altered your diet in any other way. For example, if you eliminate 1 pat of butter daily, you can lose 5 pounds a year. So all that means is rather than slapping on 2 teaspoons of butter on your piece of toast in the morning, if you cut down to 1 teaspoon of butter, you could realize a weight loss of 5 pounds per year. If you resist that donut for coffee break a little bit later, you could, and just do that once a week, you could lose 2 pounds per year. That's just once a week. If you decline 10 medium-sized potato chips weekly, you can expect to lose 1.5 pounds per year. And if you cut down on your sugar consumption by 1 teaspoon a day, you'll shed 2 pounds. By the same token, if you decide to add any or all of those foods to your diet, then you're going to gain the same amount of weight. To be a successful dieter, exercise is essential. Weight Watchers must include at least 30 to 40 minutes of moderate exercise every day. This is necessary to keep your muscle tone in good condition and also to force your blood to circulate. Now you're going to say to me, sure, I go to work in the morning and it's just a rat race. How in the world could I ever exercise 30 to 40 minutes a day, right? Okay, you're all nodding in agreement. This exercise could be performed while you're in your normal work routine, such as parking your car a little further away from the office than you have to and walking a couple of blocks. Ever think of doing that? God, no. Getting out of the office after you eat your lunch instead of complaining about how stuffy it is in the office. You know, a little walk around the block might do you some good. That could help. It could be all of 15 minutes of brisk walking and it would add to your 30 to 40 minutes of exercise every day. How about climbing the stairs instead of riding the elevator? Oh, that's really the clincher. That really takes a lot of effort. I used to work in Boston on Tremont Street, and we were the 10th floor up, and fools that we were, you had to ride past the 2nd floor in order to walk the stairs. When we used to walk those stairs, we were no good for the rest of the afternoon. All of these suggestions and many others could be worked into your lifestyle so that you could get a minimum of physical exercise exercise instead of always using a motor to do your work. You stop and think about it, you don't even turn a crank to sharpen your pencil anymore. You've got electric pencil sharpeners. Right? And also those, the waste paper recyclers, those things, they just choose. You don't have to walk to the waste basket. It's right beside your desk and it eats it for you. Hopefully, a few of the points I've already mentioned will help some of you sitting in the audience to achieve or maintain an ideal weight. But I'm sure there are a few of you who will know that you're aware of what you eat, and you do engage in a moderate amount of activity. So your question is, if I've not changed my eating patterns in the past 30 years, and I exercise daily, why am I beginning to feel a rubber tire around my waist, or extra padding at my hips, or back, which is a common problem in women? There could be a reasonable explanation for this. There are a number of times during the course of a woman's life when it becomes particularly difficult not to gain excess weight. Between the ages of 12 and 14, when menstruation begins, girls are vulnerable to overeating. A second time is during pregnancy. We rationalize weight gain as a natural phenomenon, so it's a few extra pounds. These pounds, however, are very, very difficult to lose after the birth of the baby. Another vulnerable time for weight gain in a woman's life is during menopause. It is conjectured that hormonal changes in the body cause an imbalance in the hormones and thus create a problem as far as weight control. If you're aware of these times, however, that are particularly dangerous, you may be able to prevent a very trying experience of dieting, which can last up to 5 or 6 years if you're not too successful. To determine the number of calories that you need, actual weight has to be considered in terms of height and frame and age. And what comes to mind is the story of a young girl, 17 or 18, and she weighed 155 pounds, which was a little overweight for the girl. But she really did not appear to be that much overweight. And she had gone to some kind of a weight control clinic or something, and they suggested that the girl get down to 120 pounds. Well, when you actually examined this girl's body structure and her frame, she could not have ever gotten down to 120 pounds without looking emaciated. In actuality, she should have only lost about 15 pounds, and she appeared to be in good weight control. And this is something that's often overlooked if you simply walk into some kind of a Weight Watcher program or something like that. Frame definitely has a bearing on how much you should weigh. You shouldn't use it as a cop-out, but there are times in your life when you'll say, well, gee, I've always been a little husky, and so, you know, I shouldn't worry about this. But there are some people who realistically should not be down to what the average woman is at age 17. The last term that I would like to refer to, though, in talking about weight and determining the number of calories that you should consume in a day is age. And this is a very definite factor in how many calories you should consume. Heredity pretty much predetermines your height and your frame. So it's the last factor that I'd like to address in my comments. According to the Department of Agriculture, a woman whose desirable weight is 128 pounds at the age of 25 should be consuming 2,300 calories. At the age of 45, she should have reduced her calorie consumption by 150 calories, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's that 150 calories that will cause her to get that rubber tire around her middle. By the age of 65, the same woman of the same stature should have cut her calories from 2,300 calories at the age of 25 to 1,800 calories. So there's a dramatic change in how the woman should be eating. And as I've said before, eating is a habit, and it's very, very difficult for a person who's accustomed to having perhaps a slice of toast and juice and an egg and coffee and so forth in the morning to cut down if she doesn't feel as though she's actually changed the way she's eaten and she is starting to gain a few extra pounds. Of course, all of these figures are determined on the basis of moderate activity in a temperate climate. City dwellers should reduce these figures by about 25% unless their jobs call for a lot of physical effort.
Even those of you who engage in those
activities such as golf, tennis, swimming, whatever, yoga, should reduce your calorie intake by 25% because you're still considered sedentary. It has to be